What up, y'all? It's Ibn Darrell Don Muhammad, also known as Daryl Q. Slade, the author of The Alarm Clock Hamul Book of Rhymes, and more to come. And I just wanted to get on here and let you know that, there's a lot of media propaganda, just being out here on the field, being on the front line, as far as like in the Carolina region, you gotta realize that you gotta trust sources that has firsthand knowledge. And as a journalist, I really hold myself accountable about what we put out. So recently, a article, and this is me holding myself accountable. It's an article that an interview that just came out a few weeks ago. I just re-released to the public. My cousin in Louisville, he's doing ground research, and he came across these discoveries, these articles, these interviews from our lineage, from our ancestral lineage in Louisville, and they were discussing our bloodline and where we come from, which is Louisville, by the way. That is the core, that's the base of our foundation of our home. And so in the interview, my great aunt, it was both of my great aunts, and this is preserved at the University of Louisville. They pagkatilo, pampatade tolo, panimeno oira, federal. I realize I'm an Aquarius, so like thoughts are coming in and out as I'm speaking. So that's just me naturally. So in this interview, it talked about how our tribe actually didn't come from South Dakota as we were told, but actually came from Pennsylvania. You feel me? Just one set of our tribe we talking about specifically. So, with that being said, we have to rewrite the course of our history because we wrote it in this book. And in this book, it says that Tinka came from the Dakotas. Now, it has a history in here of, it says it here, it says here he was a chief from the Lakota tribe, and there's belief he had Chippewa roots, which makes more sense if he got Chippewa. Now that right there says he has Chippewa roots. It said that he came from the Dakotas and settled in the western Kentucky. When we update it, we're gonna say the banks in the Ohio River, and that's the land, that's the geographical landmark, right? So the banks in Ohio, the falls, the waterfalls in Ohio, and what is now Louisville in the late 1800s. Now that part is true, but it says that he came from this is Tinka. So it say he's Lakota. Now that still can be true too. You feel what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that his migrational path, this is him, that his migrational path was from Pennsylvania and not South Dakota, right? Because in here we talk about the history of it. It says he traveled from the Dakotas, so also we got in here Native Americans. That has to be updated because we want to be specific, and we talk about American Indians, because when you look at the American Indians, people who are foreign, like who, like this is like their first time ever coming in North America. The people who are foreign, they look at you like when they say American Indian, they see this face, me, my phenotype, and everybody who look who I look like I can be one of their cousins. Those are the American Indians, like the Jackson family. You feel what I'm saying? It's so many people that like say we look like we can be related. The Taylors, you feel me? But you gotta be very specific. Everything really has to do with the phenotype. You feel me? It has to do with the phenotype. Even I just found out that Barack Obama mama got Negro ancestry. Barack Obama's mama has Negro ancestry, right? In fact, it said that she is a descendant of an African slave. So, well, I just wanted to do this blog to say that we put a lot of work into this book, me and my brother. You feel what I'm saying? We worked together for Darrell. So we want to update that. This is still a good book that you can go out and buy. You know, the information is solid, but all I'm saying is these interviews, for me being the historian for this project, and Dr. The person, the OP, the original Panther, I got the historian title from the OP, the original Panther, Daryl. I say Daryl Little, but Larry Little. Shout out to Daryl Little, Escobar. So this here is where are we at? That's it. That's the shot. I took this. This is my photography. I took that picture on the. This was the 60-year anniversary, or the 50. Either the 60-year anniversary or the 50-year. I want to say the 50-year anniversary of the Black Panthers. You feel what I'm saying? So the Black Panthers, and the first charter was established by the original Panther, Larry Little. You feel me? And so he's the one who gave me, matter of fact, this same day, he told me that I was a historian. We were in the archives of our alma mater in the House of the Rams. You feel what I'm saying? And so where he's a professor, he left college, the same college he left to go to Oakland to establish this charter for the Panthers, and the TRAFO is the same technically mission that I'm on right now, but in a different light, in the same energy, in a different light, because it's like the sun is moving, the sun is rotating, the sun is shifting. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing repeated over and over and over again. I actually asked, Baba, I asked him if he knew about the Magi Warriors, because in the Magi Warriors, our master teacher, Mfundisi Jahiltimus, you feel me? He went to, he in his book, Mentuhotep and the Magi, he talks about how the Magi Warriors would transform into Panthers. You feel what I'm saying? And it's a story about the North and the South. It's the son from the South going to unite the North. And he was already an heir to the throne, but he had to go train in the South with the Magi Warriors. He had to fight with them. You feel what I mean? He had to earn his rights. because he had to go and fight. He was going, like, instead of him just becoming the CEO or the pharaoh, you feel what I'm saying? He had to go earn his stripes. He had to go earn his stripes. He had to get out in that field. You know what I'm saying? And so now, that is the spirit of my journalism, and you had to go to Smoketown. How is it that I went to Smoketown with my brother, who's on the cover, and we rode the megabus to Smoketown and stayed on Lambton Street. Stayed on Lambton Street. Literally walked to Central High School, where my mama went. In honor of my mama, walked to Central High School. And in the interview, my Aunt Mary Lee, the mother of Ayo. You see what I'm saying? She's the mother of Ayo. Ayo is a huge. The reason why she's on the back of this book is because I would not have known any of my ancestral nothing if it not had been for Ayo. Do you see what I'm saying? And so this is her in this interview is Ayo's mom in the 70s. And her mom is in this book. She's recorded in this book. And she spoke on how her family had her and her sister, Sally. In fact, it was dated, I think it was June the 16th. I think that's what it was. June 16th, 1977. And this is 1975. And they recorded in here because that's their time period. So in the interview, it talked about how they walked from Smoketown, where I was at, where literally I was there in June of 2019. June, yeah, it was every bit June, around this time in 2019. And we was in Smoketown, and I walked to Central. Man. They all recorded in here. That's my great-grandfather. You feel me? And so when they were kids, all growing up in Smoketown, they walked to Central High School. That was the only school that they could go to in the city, in Jefferson County. That was the only school that they could go to, was Central High School. And that's where Muhammad Ali went. That's where my mama went. My mama, when she took me to Louisville, she would tell me how she would walk the halls and see Muhammad Ali in the hallway. Like, just imagine that. Just imagine that. You walking down the hallway and you can say that you saw Muhammad Ali in the hall, son. These are stories that my mama shared with me when she took me to Louisville. So I thought about it. I watched this documentary with Giannis when he went back to Nigeria for the first time, where his mama from. Where his mama from. Man. And like where his mama from. And when he went back to, this is going on No More Suits YouTube. We're going to put this on No More Suits YouTube. So make sure y'all get these books, bro. Get these books from us. Get these books. But look. the shit signed. That shit got there. You feel me? The deal is, nah, my Ali. So yeah, you get these from us. We put the work in there. So I'm in there in Smoketown, and I walk. Literally, this is like my first time hearing, it's the song by Nip, Bigger Than Life. I was walking down, if I have a map, I'd tell you the street I was walking, but it was like, I was walking from Smoketown, like, west. You feel me? Smoketown, going west, but I didn't go up the Broadway. I was like on the back streets and the back alleys over there. And this is literally, bro, if you type in Lucy Breckenridge Jones Eastern Cemetery on Facebook, it'll give you the direct history. But now we have an additional source of these interviews. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out to Tony. Man, shout out to Tony, dog. Tony got all the credit for that. His son, Antonio the Third, he got all the credit for that. And they coming directly from Sally's line. They coming directly from Sally. I grew up on Sally's Lane. Ramilly Run. That's crazy. So man, we was walking in. I'm there. We knew what we was working on. We had already started 1975. Me and Los had already started 1975, so it was intentional. I'm like, bruh, I need to soak in as much information as possible. I gotta soak up as much information. As a historian, you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta go to the places. Like I sent my brother Sabir, I sent him a message today. I was like, Jay-Z got this line, they can't talk how I talk because they ain't been where I've been. And then I put, I've been like Ibn. You know what I'm saying? And I sent that to him because, like, out of all of these teachers and professors and shit like that, Sabir is one of them ones. He like Chancellor Williams. Do I got the destruction of black civilization over there? I ain't got my glasses on. I don't think I got it over there, but I got it in there. Chancellor Williams, who actually not from too far from here. You know what I'm saying? He was in the field, son. He was in the field. So I was like, I gotta have that same approach to, you know, authorship. Shout out to, and Sabir is who inspired me. You know what I mean? Sabir inspired me like, yo, you know, go to the places. So that's the mentality. And I met Sabir in Louisville, bro. In Louisville. In the motherfucking, so I'm hearing everything that I'm saying has been oral traditions. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So we wrote the oral traditions. In this book, we documented it. Our family, our set, we documented our history. You feel me? We documented the history. And it's preserved. This was preserved the whole time. So it's like, if we had the test to document the family history, and then to pass the test, what they say in the interview in 1977 got to line up with what you rating right here in 1975. So that's the birthright. That's why 1975 is plastered right there, because it's the birthright of it's the mother. You feel what I'm saying? She gave birth in 1975, which was the year of atonement. The last year of atonement. The last one was in 2025. Dabare Paderno. Man, mama. So we was right there. And then my Uncle Stan, who just passed away in 2025, Slim. That's my uncle. These my uncles. They all arc in heaven. All of them, even the dogs. They all arc in heaven. Even dogs go to heaven. You feel me? So this is in Park Hill in Louisville. And my uncle picked me up from our ancestral home base, which was on Lambton Street. And Jacob, my Uncle Stan picked me up from her. He picked me up. Matter of fact, he picked me up from her and dropped me off over there. No. He picked me up and dropped me off. Yeah, facts. But we went to go pick my brother up. Right there where G-Ski brought Gotti at. Stamp. He brought Gotti the lamp. Nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Garaparatere. Bruh, my uncle's funeral was on ESTG birthday, bruh. In Newburgh. So my uncle, he gave me the tour of Louisville. He literally spun me around the block where they was at in his picture. He didn't even know this picture. He didn't even know I had this picture. You feel what I'm saying? Until after the book came out. And he spent me through Park Hill, bro. He spent me by Central. So that's generations of like family. Like when my aunt Sally and my aunt Mary Lee, when they was going to Central, my Uncle Stan wasn't even born yet. My mama wasn't even born yet. You feel me? In fact, where the shit at? Man. In fact, I don't know where that shit at. It's somewhere in here. I got so many books, man. And if I don't keep up with them. Oh my God, bro. Do you see that? Yeah. Oh my God. That's why I be talking to the bees, bro. That's why I be talking to the hornets. Cause my daughter's Charlotte. Oh, no. Feel me? CHS, nigga. This is where Muhammad Ali walked the halls at, son. And so when I went to Louisville, I walked to Central. Then my uncle picked me up and gave me a tour of his version of when he was at Central. That's crazy. And I'm not sharing what he told me. That's my Uncle Stan, bro. My grandmother, who also transitioned in the Year of Atonement. My grandma, raised these babies, man, when she was 13 years old. 13, 14 years old. Yeah. And my mama and them, and so she held my mama back. That's my mama there. Darrell. She would say, Darrell Jones. Feel me? I got her name. I got the masculine version of it. Darrell is Darrell, it's Darrell. Darrell is interchangeable. You feel what I'm saying? You could be the real, you know what I mean? The real can be masculine and feminine. You just saying you a real, it's like a pronoun. And in Arabic, it's a what they call it? Preposition. That's my Uncle Stan right there. That's them when they were older. Feel me? At Central High School. Feel me? But they the Centrillians. Feel me? So, this is where we descend from. Can't make it up. So, my birth is recorded in here. You feel me? The origin of my birth So this is like The Godfather part 2. And this is part 1 right here. Feel me? You feel me? You feel me? Mannerisms of a young Bobby De Niro. So that's part. This is part. That's part 1. You feel me? That's part 1. Excuse me. That's part 2. This is part 2. Okay. Part 1. You understand what I'm telling you? You get it? You get it yet? Does that make sense? That make perfect sense, don't it? Okay. All right. Okay. But you still, but then like part two is part 1. You feel what I'm saying? So would they go back? What if they go back another generation in Cecilia with his mama? You feel what I'm saying? Come on now. That's in Catholicism, that's Anna. That's Mary mama. Do you understand? That's why we got Mary Lee KC. And I was reading up on Maryville, which is in Chucktown, in the Holy City. I was reading up on Maryville, and they said that the charter got revoked, but it was established in 1886. Now, 1886 is the same year, you feel what I'm saying, of William, right? William was born in 1885. You feel what I'm saying? He was born right at the turn of it. He was born in December of 85. You feel me? In 1885. You know what I mean? And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was born literally, I want to say 23 days later. Yeah. You right there. You feel me? And so, y'all get this book. It's definitely a lot of talking points in here. So we talked about Daryl Little. That's coming off the Daryl Hunt flip. You feel what I'm saying? That's coming off the Daryl Hunt flip, which was his lawyer was Larry Little. You feel me? So long live Daryl Hunt. You know what I mean? And then also that flips off of the, one of the greatest New York Knicks of all times, Earl the Pearl, right there in the Trey 4. You feel what I'm saying? He's shining, prepping you for hip hop, 1973. You feel me? So that's 77, 75, 73. You know what I mean? That's hip hop, son. That's hip hop. This is hip hop. This is hip hop. California love. That's just hip hop. This book is hip hop. That's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's hip hop. That's hip hop. You hear me? That's hip hop. That's hip hop. That's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? 1973, bro. That's when my big sister was born. So how my brother got 1975, my sister can have 1973. 1973, 1974, and 1984. You feel me? Those straight up. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's the oral traditions. They passed down, but they haven't been written. You know what I mean? They haven't been written. Like, if my sister do 1973, that shit gonna be Snowfall. The real Snowfall. That's gonna be a spin-off of the real Snowfall. You gonna have a whole nother season just from talking to my big sister. Damn. And then, which was the Power joint? What was the Power series with Mary J. Blige? The Tejadas? If you talk to my sister from 74, that's gonna be a whole nother spin-off of that. Oh, goddamn. That's crazy. So yeah, 1975 is really a very important book. It's the history of Maya Angelou. You know what I mean? My mama, she would win contests. She would win hair contests in Chicago and all over the country, national hair competitions. My mama did. That's my mama. So this shit really about her. It's really telling, like, I feel like John, when John was writing about Christ. Cause John was with Christ. Just like he was with the Word, son. So, when my mama died, the Word, the Word became like, when I saw that, the Word. What's the word? Word. Hip hop. You feel me? That's, you know what I mean? Big Darrell. See what she left behind? The Trayfo, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop. This the Bojangles on Renota now. You feel me? That's to put that in. I told one time I pulled up to the window there, and I told these girls right off Renota Road, Bojangles on Renota Road. That was Darrell Salon of Beauty. You know what I mean? That was this. That's where she Darrell. You know what I mean? That's Darrell. That's where Darrell Ark was at. Speaking of, that got my sister right there. That's my sister. She a grandma now. She a yaya. My sister Yaya, and she looked just like her grandbaby. Her grandbaby looked just like her right there, Shariah. On everything I love. My mama did that cut for her. That's crazy. So, yeah, that's Gaia. That's the Earth. So, yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh, so I was telling these sisters that was working at the window. I was like, yeah, you know this used to be a salon. They was like, she called her homegirls over there. She was like, you can't believe this. I'm like, it used to be my mama's salon. Bro, they was tripping over that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Because again, like I said at the beginning of the video, the light, it transfers through generations. So now, like, my mama doing her translate to her at the register being a clerk, because you gotta have the clerk at the salon. You feel what I mean? So now that's where the salon that's holistic, a holistic practice. You know what I mean? It's a form of healing. You know what I mean? The barbershop too. And my mama cut hair. You feel what I'm saying? Like I said, this her cut. So she cut Daryl Griffin hair the same way. The box cut. Feel me? A woman just cut my hair. You feel me? This is done by a woman. You know what I mean? And so, this is a very good book. I just wanted to come on here and to make that correction. Like, okay, in this interview, Mary Lee Casey says that Tin Cup traveled down the Ohio River from Pennsylvania, and he used the coal to stay warm. All right, so now That's her word, and her word trumps everything. But to support her word as supporting evidence, I looked up is coal in the Ohio River, and what came up was that in the overview on Google, it says that the Ohio River is rich, is the coal is the bloodline for the Ohio River. It literally said that coal is the bloodline for the Ohio River. So what is coal made of? Carbon. What are we made of? Carbon. So our lineage goes back to carbon dates back to the carbon in the coal. So it's bigger than 10 Cup. You understand? It's the code. It's the carbon in the code. Now, so that is our legacy, our history. We take pride in that, number one. And two, we have to hold ourselves accountable as authors. It's transparency. Again, like I said, you got to go to the places. You feel me? So now for the next generation, so Tony the Third's generation, which me and him in the house have the same rank. We got the same rank. You understand what I'm telling you? We got the same rank. Even though he younger than me, he a younger generation, but me and him got the same rank in the house. You feel what I'm saying? So therefore, for their generation, which is like the 20, what we call in the YNs, the YNs are having children. So for their children's generation, they'll be able to branch off of this tangible information and to say, okay, well, we finna go study the carbon and the coals in the Ohio's. That's gonna be the work that they doing. They're gonna be bringing videographers out there. This is how they're gonna be getting compensated for their time. You know what I mean? So these gonna be kids on the block that's gonna have budgets to go to the Ohio River. You know what I mean? Or wherever they wanna go. You feel what I'm saying? To do these ground studies. You feel me? And so that's the future of what we have established with No More Suits here. You know what I mean? Right now in the present. So we building a foundation and a platform like it's like the British Broadcasting Company. I just want to be clear there. You understand what I'm saying? The British Broadcasting Company. And also on my travels, I discovered that the Chattanooga, the guy who brought the Chattanooga Times was actually a immigrant, an Israeli immigrant or a Jewish immigrant. And a lot of them, you say Israeli, but they really tie back. These were the Slavs who were in Ireland and who was sent from Scotland to Ireland, okay? British subjects, you know what I'm saying? They became British subjects once, King James became the king of England. So we being specific here. These people were living on plantations and they were escaping their servitude by going to anywhere they could land. You know what I mean? And so they came to America by the mass and squatted, and then over time they civilized. You feel what I mean? To this day. I forgot where I was looping that to, but I can take what I just said and build back and see if I can go back to it. So that is really who settled in our communities. They came here and they claim, a lot of them are claiming our rights. You know what I'm saying? They squatted in our houses, and now we getting pushed out. So it's like the reverse effect of what they was going through is what we dealing with now. You know what I mean? And so now, the owner of the Chattanooga Times, he brought the Chattanooga Times for like $200, and then he took that asset and brought the New York Times. Look up the owner of the New York Times. Look at where he was from. Read his history. Again, this firsthand. I'm looking at the building of the Chattanooga Times as I seen the building, then I went to a book bank and got a book on that same building. Subconsciously. It wasn't like I wanted to go get a book on. I'm like, no, I seen this downloaded in my head. Like, dang, it's a triangular building. And when I when I went to the book bank, I pick up a book and it talks about it. The Jewish migrants. You know what I mean? They founded Goldman Sachs and shit. So they was in finance, they were in the press and publishing, they were in media, so like newscasting, they were in politics, so the government, they were in the music industry, so they had, again, that goes back to publishing and press, you feel me? Like, man, and it was this network that is still being used today. You feel what I mean? Like, that's really what masterminding. So instead of like, what niggas would do is like, we're gonna boycott Target. Okay. Boycotting Target is not going to hurt Target. You feel what I'm saying? That's not going to, you know what I mean? You're not hitting them where it hurt by boycotting. They actually probably profit more off of boycotting because it's giving them publicity. You feel me? So that's, you know what I mean? It actually drives the market when you do that. You know what I mean? And so, especially if they got a system that works, because if they got a system like they got it with Target, because I shop and deliver. So when I shop and deliver at Target, to provide for my family, right? So when I'm shopping and deliver, they got a map. They got a map of the inside of the store that's guiding you where to pick the shit up from. But y'all want to boycott it. But in the game of horse, you can't match what they do. So you lose regardless. You a sore loser by boycotting. You got to get better. You got to get sharper. You got to sharpen your tools. You got to sharpen your axes. So in order to effectively boycott or whatever you're trying to accomplish is to be Target. You be the target. Now everybody coming to your store, your franchise. You know what I mean? Your arenas. You know what I mean? Y'all mean? Y'all mean? So yeah, I wanted to come here and correct this, and make sure that is noted that Tin Cup came from the Pennsylvanians. This is preserved, the oral, and this is preserved from his granddaughter, by the way. It's his granddaughter. All right? And so doing the work really pays off, because to hear them speak on the and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a link to the, well, we're gonna release it we're gonna release. We're gonna, man. No More Suits may publish it, so that we can. I'm gonna talk with the family to see if we can release that through No More Suits, and that way we can have it like on our public our British broadcasting channel. We speak English, right? So that's a part of the BBC, right? But so yeah, man, I got emotional on here, but I can't see it coming down my eyes, so I gotta let these pages cry. You know what I mean? So y'all get my book, The Alarm Clock. That's been the #1 review, is that it's a tear jerker. So if you want to cry, like I can't even cry reading my own jokes. It's like a comedian not laughing at his own jokes, but I can't even cry at my shit, and it's sentimental. And like as a writer, I know how to write. I knew I was gonna make people cry there. That was the whole goal, because I wanted, when you cry, you more relaxed. So I wanted you to be more relaxed throughout the rest of the book. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how it was pieced together. It was metaphysically pieced together. I didn't use AI. I didn't even know what AI was when I was writing The Alarm Clock. I had that table. You see that table back there? That was when I was sitting at that table, my mama table. I was sitting there and architecting how I'm gonna put this shit. You feel me? Put this shit together. Feel me? Dang, that's a flex, ain't it? Because that's what they be doing with the money. I'm doing that shit with my books now. Yeah. Yeah. So get The Alarm Clock.